The kitchen smelled like burnt garlic and regret. Owen scraped the last bits of food residue from his industrial cooktop and wondered if anyone would show up tomorrow. 3 customers today. 3. On a station with 12,000 residents. Only 3 people wanted to eat his food that he dumped the dirty water down the recycling drain and hung up his apron. The restaurant had been his dream for 5 years, ever since he left the corporate towers back on Earth. No more synthetic proteins. No more flavor packets designed by algorithms. Just real cooking with real ingredients. Except nobody seemed to care about real anymore. The back service door rattled. Owen froze. Nothing delivered this late. He checked his tablet. Nothing scheduled. The rattling came again, more insistent this time. He grabbed a frying pan out of habit and approached the door. The security panel showed nothing. The camera feed was empty. But something was definitely out there because he could hear breathing, heavy breathing, and something else. Crying? Owen hit the release button that a small bronze-scaled creature stood in the doorway, barely reaching his waist. 2 wings folded against its back. Green eyes brimmed with tears. In its clawed hands, it clutched a woven basket filled with purple vegetables that looked like mutated carrots. Owen nearly dropped his pan. A dragon. A real dragon. On his doorstep. The creature spoke in broken galactic common, the universal language that most species used. Please, you're a cook. You make food taste good. Everyone say human cooks make anything taste good. Owen found his voice. I'm sorry, what? The dragon held up the basket with trembling claws. My mother. She is sick. Very sick. She must eat these. But they taste like death. She cannot eat them. She tries. She vomits. She grows weaker. Please. You make them taste good. Please. The young dragon's voice cracked on the last word. Fresh tears rolled down its scaled cheeks. Owen set down the pan and knelt to eye level. Hey, slow down. What's your name? Copper. My name is Copper. Okay, Copper. I'm Owen. Tell me what's happening with your mother. Copper took a shaking breath. She has scale rot, the sickness that makes dragon scales turn gray and fall off. If we do not treat it, she will die. The medicine is these vegetables. Silvercress. They grow only on 3 planets in the whole galaxy. My brother flew for 6 weeks to get them, but mother cannot eat them. They are too bitter. She tries and tries, but she cannot keep them down. Every day, she grows worse. Owen looked at the vegetables. They were unlike anything he had seen before, purple with silver veins running through them. They smelled like metal and something else he could not identify. And you came to me because dragons do not ask other species for help. It is not our way. We solve our own problems. But I do not care about our way anymore. My mother is dying. I heard humans can make anything taste good. I heard there is a human cook on this station who uses old methods, who respects ingredients. I asked and everyone pointed to this place. So I came. Please, I will pay anything. I will work for you. I will do whatever you need. Just please help my mother eat. Owen looked into those green eyes and saw desperation. Pure, honest desperation. This was a child begging him to save a parent. Species did not matter in that moment. Pain was universal. I don't know anything about dragon biology. Copper. What if I cook these wrong and make her worse? She is already dying. Worse does not exist anymore. Fair point. Owen took the basket and examined the silver cress. The vegetables were firm and surprisingly heavy. How much does she need to eat? 1 full plant per day for 30 days. And the scale rot stops. But she has only eaten 3 plants in 10 days. She is fading. Owen did quick math. If Skyfire was eating only 3 out of 10, she would never complete the treatment. She would die. This kid would lose his mother because medicine tasted too awful to swallow that he knew that feeling. His own grandmother had refused to eat hospital food before she died. Said it tasted like cardboard and sadness. She had wasted away not because the nutrition was not available, but because she could not force herself to consume it. He had been too young then to help. But he was not too young now. Copper, I need to be honest with you. I have never cooked for a dragon. I do not know if dragon taste buds work like human taste buds. I might fail completely. Copper nodded. I understand. But will you try? Please, will you try? Owen looked at the small dragon standing in his doorway at midnight, holding bitter vegetables and hope in equal measure. His restaurant was failing. He was broke. He had no experience with alien cuisine. Every logical reason said to refuse. Come back tomorrow at sunrise. I will have something ready for you. Kappa's eyes went wide. You will help? Really? I will try my best. That's all I can promise. The young dragon launched forward and hugged Owen around the waist. The scales were warm and smooth. Thank you. Thank you. You are saving her life. You are saving my mother. Kappa released him and flew off into the night, wings beating hard against the station's recycled air. Owen stood alone in his kitchen doorway, holding a basket of alien vegetables that might kill someone if he prepared them wrong. He had no idea what dragon dietary needs were, no clue about their physiology, no reference material. He looked at his empty restaurant, at his failing dream. Then he looked at the silver crest that a child had asked for help. That was enough. Owen locked the back door and fired up his computer terminal. Time to learn everything possible about dragons before sunrise. His restaurant could fail tomorrow, but tonight, someone needed him to cook, and that was what he did best. Owen's eyes burned from staring at screens for 6 hours straight. His small apartment above the restaurant was a mess of scattered notes and empty coffee cups. The Galactic Database had exactly 47 entries about dragon biology. Most of it was useless corporate mining reports. Dragons needed high mineral content in their diet. They could taste electromagnetic fields somehow. Their digestive system processed metals that would poison most other species. They generated internal heat that could melt steel. And scale rot was a degenerative disease that broke down the metallic structure of their scales, leaving them vulnerable to temperature fluctuations and eventually organ failure. Silvercrest was the only known cure. The plant contained rare compounds that helped rebuild damaged scales. But here was the problem. The same alkaloid that made the medicine work also made it taste absolutely horrible. According to one research paper, the bitterness factor was 12,000 times stronger than human tolerance levels. And oh wonder Skyfire, it could not keep it down. Owen rubbed his face and checked the time. 4 in the morning. Copper would arrive in 2 hours. He had nothing, his tablet bust. A message from Dr. Amira Osei, the xenobiologist he had served dinner to last month. She worked in the station's research division. Got your research request. Are you really trying to cook for a dragon? Call me. Now. Owen hit the call button. Amira's face appeared on screen. She looked as tired as he felt. Tell me you are not doing something stupid, she said. Owen explained everything. Copper. Skyfire. The silver crest. The deadline. Amira listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long moment. You know this could kill her if you get it wrong. I know. You could face legal charges. Unauthorized medical treatment. Station regulations are very clear. I know that too. And you're doing it anyway because a child asked you for help. Yes. Amira smiled. My late partner would have liked you. He always said the universe needed more fools willing to help strangers. All right. Send me a sample of the silvercrest. I will analyze it properly. Between your cooking skills and my xenobiology knowledge, maybe we can figure this out. You will help. Someone has to keep you from accidentally poisoning a dragon matriarch. Give me 90 minutes. The call ended. Owen felt a weight lift from his chest. He was not alone in this anymore, that he went down to the kitchen and started pulling ingredients. If Amira could isolate what made the silvercrest bitter, maybe he could mask it, or balance it, or transform it into something edible. His mind went back to culinary school, to the basic principles his first instructor had taught him. Cooking was chemistry. Flavor was balance. Salt, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami. If bitter was too strong, you needed to bring up the other 4 to create harmony. But dragon taste buds were not human taste buds. He sliced off a tiny piece of silvercrest and touched it to his tongue. The bitterness hit him like a physical force. His mouth went numb. His eyes watered. He spat it out and rinsed his mouth repeatedly. Even after brushing his teeth twice, the metallic bitterness lingered 12,000 times human tolerance. The research paper had not been exaggerating. His tablet buzzed again. Amira had sent a detailed chemical analysis. Owen read, through it carefully. The healing compound was bound directly to the bitter alkaloid. You could not remove one without destroying the other. Any attempt to chemically separate them would make the medicine useless. But there was a note at the bottom of Amir's report. Dragons taste electromagnetic fields. The bitterness might be partially electrical in nature. Try conductive ingredients. Iron, copper, salts. Create a circuit in the food that redirects the bitter signal. Owen stared at that note. Create a circuit in the food. That was insane. That was brilliant. That might actually work. He started pulling ingredients. Mushrooms grown in iron-rich soil. Kelp with high mineral content. Black salt from volcanic regions. Ingredients that conducted electricity. Ingredients that dragons would naturally consume. The first attempt was a disaster. He braised the silvercrest with the mushrooms, and it turned into gray sludge that smelled like burnt metal. Failure. Second attempt. He tried fermenting the ingredients together. The result was better, but still wrong. The bitterness was masked, but the electromagnetic profile felt dead somehow. He could not explain it, but his instincts said no. Failure. Third attempt. Owen stopped thinking like a human chef. He stopped trying to make food for humans. He started thinking about what Copper had told him. Dragons process metals. They needed minerals. Their bodies ran hot. He built a fire in his specialty clay oven and let it heat until the stones glowed. He prepared the silvercrest with extreme care, cutting it into precise strips. He blanched it in mineral water to remove surface bitterness. Then he layered it with iron-rich mushrooms and wrapped everything in fermented kelp. Into the clay oven at high heat. The electromagnetic properties of the iron would create a field. The fermented kelp would provide umami depth. The high heat would transform the bitter compounds into something complex instead of just awful. Owen monitored the temperature carefully. Dragons could eat food that would burn human mouths. He let it cook until the mushrooms caramelized and the kelp crisped at the edges. When he pulled it from the oven, the smell was different. Earthy, rich, almost appetizing. He let it cool slightly and transferred everything to a thermal container that would keep it hot. Light was coming through the kitchen windows. Dawn. Owen had been cooking all night. The back door rattled. Same nervous, desperate sound as before. Owen opened it. Copper stood there with those hopeful green eyes. "Did you really make something?" the young dragon asked quietly, as if afraid to believe. Owen handed him the thermal container. "Keep it hot. Your mother should eat it while the temperature is still high. The heat is part of what makes it work. If she can handle it, have her eat slowly. The mineral content is intense." Copper took the container like it was made of glass. "How much?" "No charge. Just let me know if it works." The young dragon looked up at him. "Why are you helping us?" Dragons and humans are not friends. Owen thought about his grandmother, about hospital food she could not eat, about dying because medicine was too unpleasant to take, because you asked, and because nobody should lose their mother over bad cooking. Copper nodded once, then flew off toward the asteroid belt where the dragon settlement lived. Owen watched him go and realized he had no idea if what he made would work. He had combined Earth ingredients with alien medicine based on guesswork and theory. It could fail completely. Skyfire might taste it and still vomit. Or worse, it might hurt her. He went back inside his kitchen and sat down heavily on a prep stool. All he could do now was wait and hope that compassion combined with chemistry would be enough to save a life. His tablet showed 7 unread messages. Bills, warnings, overdue notices. The restaurant was still failing. He'd spent all night cooking for free. Nothing about this made business sense, but for the first time in months, Owen felt like he had done something that mattered. Now he just had to hope it was enough. Copper flew through the asteroid belt with the thermal container gripped carefully in his claws. His wings ached from the constant trips between the dragon settlement and the station, but he did not care. Inside that container was hope. Real hope. The kind he had not felt in weeks. The entrance to his family's cavern came into view. Natural formations carved over centuries, lit by blue bioluminescent crystals that grew in the rock. Beautiful and isolated. Safe. That was how dragons liked it. Safe meant alone that he landed on the entrance ledge and folded his wings. His older brother Flint was waiting, arms crossed over his chest. Flint was twice Kappa's size, with scales like polished bronze armor. "You went back to the human," Flint said. Not a question, an accusation. He made something. For Mother. He worked all night. "We do not accept help from humans. Father died because of humans. Their mining operation collapsed his tunnel. They did not even apologize. They just marked it as an accident and moved on." Kappa's voice shook. "Father is dead. Mother is dying. I do not care about pride anymore. I care about her living." Flint's jaw tightened. And what did this human want in return? Credits? Mining rights? Access to our settlement? Nothing. He charged nothing. That stopped Flint cold. Nothing. He said nobody should lose their mother over bad cooking. Flint stared at the container in Kappa's claws. "It is probably poison. Then Mother is already dying anyway." They stood in silence. Finally, Flint stepped aside. "She is awake. She has been asking for you." Copper walked through the entrance tunnel. The cavern opened up into their family space. Heated stones radiated warmth. Tapestries woven from metal thread hung on the walls. And there, on a platform of smooth rock, lay his mother. Skyfire had been magnificent once. Her scales had shone like burnished gold. She had been strong enough to fly through solar winds. Now her scales were dull gray. Cracks ran through them like broken pottery. She barely had strength to lift her head. "My little one," she said softly. "You went to the station again. I brought something. The human made it. For you." Copper opened the thermal container. Steam rose carrying a rich, earthy smell. Nothing like the raw, bitter stench of silvercress. Skyfire's nose twitched. "That smells like the deep earth, like iron veins and ancient minerals. Will you try it? Please." She looked at the food, then at Copper, then at Flint standing in the entrance. "Your brother thinks it is poison. Your son thinks it is medicine," Copper said. "Please, Mother." Skyfire struggled to sit up. Flint moved forward to help despite his reservations. Together, they propped her against the wall. Copper brought a piece of the braised silver cress on a metal plate. His mother took it with trembling claws. She smelled it carefully. Her eyes widened slightly. "This is silver cress. I can sense the healing compounds. But the bitterness is masked." "How?" "The human did something with mushrooms and kelp and heat. He said it creates an electromagnetic field that redirects the bitter signal." Flint snorted. "Humans do not understand electromagnetic taste." "This one tried," Copper said. Skyfire took a small bite. She chewed slowly. Her expression was unreadable. Copper held his breath. This was it. Either it worked or another failure would break what little hope remained. His mother swallowed. She waited. Seconds passed. Then she took another bite. And another. "It tastes like home," she said quietly. "Like the old caves where I was born. Like minerals fresh from the earth. The bitterness is still there, but it is woven into something rich. Something whole." She looked at Copper with tears in her eyes. "I can eat this." Coppa's legs went weak with relief. Skyfire ate half the container before exhaustion forced her to stop. More than she had eaten in days. More than she had kept down in weeks. "I want to sleep now," she said. "But wake me in 4 hours. I will eat more then." They settled her back onto the heated stones. Within minutes, her breathing evened into sleep. But something was different. Her scales looked slightly less gray. The cracks seemed less pronounced. It was subtle, but it was there. Flint stood staring at their sleeping mother. It helped her. Yes. A human helped her. Yes. Flint's worldview was fracturing. Copper could see it in his brother's eyes. Everything Flint believed about humans, about isolation, about solving problems alone, all of it was being challenged by one simple act of kindness. "What?" Flint asked. "Why would he help us?" Copper remembered Owen kneeling down to his level, speaking gently, treating him with respect instead of fear. "I think because he is a good person. I think some beings are just good, but he is human. So is the miner who pulled Father's body from the rubble. So was the human woman who cried at his memorial even though she had never met him. Not all humans are the corporation that killed Father. Just like not all dragons are the ones who burned human settlements 300 years ago." Flint sat down heavily. "I do not know what to think anymore. Think about Mother living. Start there. They sat together in silence, watching their mother sleep. For the first time in months, she looked peaceful. 3 hours later, a message came through on the emergency channel. Station Master Grevin wanted to see Owen immediately. Copper was monitoring station communications and heard it. His stomach dropped. He flew back to the restaurant as fast as his wings could carry him. Owen was prepping for lunch service that would probably never come. The restaurant was empty as always. "They know," Copper said, landing hard on the kitchen floor. "The station master knows you helped us." Owen looked up from chopping vegetables. "How bad?" "He's calling it unauthorized medical treatment. Violation of station regulations. You could lose your restaurant license." Owen set down his knife. He did not look surprised. "I knew this might happen. I am sorry. This is my fault. I should not have asked you." "Copper, you asked me to help your mother. I chose to help. That is on me, not you." Owen wiped his hands on his apron. "But I need you to promise me something. Anything. No matter what happens, you keep bringing those meals to your mother. Dr. Osei knows the recipe. If they shut me down, she will make it. Your mother finishes the treatment. Understand?" Kappa's eyes burned with tears. "You would lose everything. Your mother would die. That is worse." Owen smiled. "Besides, I was failing anyway. At least this way I fail doing something that matters." Later that evening, Copper returned home with another thermal container. His mother ate the entire portion. Her scales were definitely brighter. She sat up without help. The treatment was working, but Copper could not celebrate. Because somewhere on the station, Owen was being punished for the crime of compassion. Flint found him sitting alone in the entrance tunnel. "What troubles you, little brother?" "The human is in trouble because he helped us." Flint was quiet for a long time. Then he stood. "Show me where this restaurant is. I want to meet the human who saved our mother. I want to see the person who risked everything for strangers." "Why?" "Because maybe it is time dragons stopped hiding. Maybe it is time we stood up for someone who stood up for us." Copper looked at his brother and saw something new there. Not suspicion, not hatred, but the beginning of respect. "Tomorrow," Flint said. "Tomorrow we go together." For the first time, Copper felt like his family might survive this. Not just his mother's illness, but the isolation that had been killing them all slowly for generations. One human chef with a kind heart was changing everything. And that scared Copper almost as much as it gave him hope. 3 weeks had passed since that first night. Owen had fallen into a routine that felt more natural than anything in his life. Closed the restaurant after another day of almost no customers. Cook special meals for Skyfire using techniques he invented through trial and error. Wait for Copper to arrive. Send the young dragon home with hope in a thermal container. Station Master Grevin had fined him twice. Threats of license suspension came weekly. Owen paid what he could and ignored what he could not. His savings were nearly gone. In another month, he would have to close anyway. Might as well go down helping someone. Copper arrived earlier each evening. He started watching Owen cook, asking questions, learning. Their friendship grew in the quiet spaces between chopping vegetables and stirring pots. "Why did you leave Earth?" Copper asked one evening, perched on a prep counter. Owen sliced mushrooms with practiced efficiency. "Corporate food manufacturing. They wanted me to use synthetic everything. Flavor designed by computers. Nutrients printed by machines. No soul in it. No connection between the cook and the food. I wanted to make real meals for real people. But you do not have many customers." "No, I do not." "Does that make you sad?" Owen thought about it. It did. But then a small dragon showed up at my door, holding vegetables and hope. Now I cook every night for someone who really needs it. That matters more than a full restaurant. Copper was quiet for a moment. "Mother talks about you. She says you have what dragons call fire heart. Someone who burns for others instead of just for themselves. It is a great compliment. Tell her I am honored." The back door crashed open. Flint filled the doorway, wings partially spread, eyes locked on Owen. The dragon was massive up close. Easily 9 feet tall with scales that looked like they could deflect bullets. Copper jumped between them. "Brother, no. I am not here to fight," Flint said. His voice rumbled like distant thunder. "I am here to meet the human who saved our mother. To see him with my own eyes." Owen set down his knife slowly. "You must be Flint." Copper has told me about you. And what has he told you? That you are protective, that you lost your father to a human mining accident, that you have every reason not to trust me. Flint's eyes narrowed. Yet you help us anyway. Your mother is sick. Your brother asked for help. I am a cook. I cook. Not complicated. Everything between humans and dragons is complicated. Owen pulled a clean plate from a stack. Are you hungry? I just made braised rockfish with mineral reduction. Not medicine. Just food. But good food. Flint stared at him like he had spoken a different language. You offer me food. It is what I do. The big dragon looked at the plate. At Owen. At Copper, who nodded encouragingly. Finally, Flint stepped inside and took the plate with careful claws. He smelled it first, then tasted a small bite. His expression shifted. You honor the ingredients. You do not try to make them something they are not. You enhance what is already there. That is the whole philosophy. Respect what you're working with. Flint ate in silence. When he finished, he set the plate down gently. My father died in a tunnel collapse. Human Mining Corporation had cut corners on safety protocols. 17 dragons died that day. The company paid a fine and continued operations. No apology. No acknowledgement that we were people. Just acceptable losses on a balance sheet. I am sorry that happened. I have hated humans since I was Kappa's age. Every human. All of them. Because they killed my father and did not care. Flint met Owen's eyes. But you care. You risk your business, your home, your future to help a dragon you never met. You charge nothing. You ask for nothing. You just cook with your fire heart and hope it helps. I do not understand you. Owen leaned against the counter. Copper told me dragons can taste electromagnetic fields. That you experience flavor in ways I cannot imagine. I cannot understand that. But I did not need to understand it to try to help. Maybe you do not need to understand me. Maybe you just need to accept that kindness exists. Even between enemies, we're not enemies. We're just strangers who never talked before. Flint was quiet for a long time. Mother wants to meet you. Formally. In our home. It is a great honor. Also very unusual. Humans do not enter dragon settlements. I would be honored to meet her. If you harm her, I will kill you. Treaty or no treaty. Fair. Copper bounced excitedly. Does this mean you accept him, brother? Flint sighed. I accept that he helped when he did not have to. I accept that our mother is alive because of him. I accept that maybe not all humans are the corporation that killed our father. He looked at Owen. But I am watching you. I would expect nothing less. Over the next week, Owen prepared for the visit. Dr. Osei helped him research dragon customs, the greeting rituals, the proper way to enter another's home, how to show respect without showing submission. You are walking into dragon territory, Amira warned. If something goes wrong, no one can help you. Station security does not have jurisdiction in the asteroid belt. Skyfire invited me. That means something in dragon culture, right? It means she has claimed you under her protection. But Owen, be careful. Flint is not the only dragon who lost family to human actions. There will be others who do not want you there. Owen understood the risk. But he had to go. Skyfire wanted to thank him face to face. That was dragon tradition. Refusing would insult her. The day came. Flint arrived in a small transport pod. Copper was bouncing with excitement. Owen climbed in with a bag of ingredients. If he was visiting someone's home, he would cook for them. That was his tradition. The journey through the asteroid belt was breathtaking. The dragon settlement was carved into a massive asteroid, with entrance tunnels glowing from bioluminescent crystals. Beautiful and ancient. A civilization that existed long before humans left Earth. They landed on a wide ledge. Flint led the way through tunnels carved smooth by centuries of dragon claws. Other dragons watched from alcoves and side passages. Some looked curious. Others looked hostile. All of them watched Owen with unblinking eyes. They reached Skyfire's cavern. The dragon matriarch was sitting up, scales gleaming with restored health. She was magnificent, gold and bronze scales that caught the light. Eyes like molten copper. Power and wisdom in every movement. Owen bowed as Amira had taught him. Skyfire, matriarch of the bronze line, I am honored by your invitation. Skyfire studied him carefully. Owen Reyes, Human cook who saved my life. Approach. He walked forward on shaking legs. Skyfire lowered her head until they were eye to eye. You gave me back my life, she said. Dragon tradition demands I acknowledge this debt. You could ask for anything within my power to grant. Credits. Protection. Knowledge. What do you want? Human who cooks with fire heart. Owen thought about his failing restaurant, his empty savings, all the practical things he needed. Then he looked at Copper standing beside his mother, whole and happy. Teach me to cook for your people, Owen said. Not just medicine, real food. Let me learn your culinary traditions so I can serve dragons who come to the station. Let me build bridges instead of walls. Skyfire's eyes widened. You asked for knowledge, not wealth. Knowledge is wealth. And I think the galaxy needs more understanding between species. Maybe that starts with sharing meals. A slow smile crossed Skyfire's face. You are unusual for a human. Very well. I accept. But know this. If you betray this trust, if you use what you learn to harm my people, I will hunt you across the stars. I would expect nothing less. Then welcome to our home, Owen Reyes. Stay. Eat with us. Learn our ways. And perhaps teach us some of yours. Owen spent the evening cooking in a dragon cavern using heated stones and ingredients he had never seen before. Skyfire shared stories of dragon history. Flint asked questions about human cooking methods. Copper helped translate between techniques. When they finally ate together, dragons and human sharing a meal in comfortable companionship, Owen realized something important. This was what he had left Earth searching for. Not success, not fame, but connection, purpose. The simple act of feeding others and building understanding through shared food. His restaurant was still failing. Station Master Grevin was still threatening him. Nothing practical had changed, but everything important had changed. And that was enough. For now, that was more than enough. Owen spent 3 days in the dragon settlement learning techniques that had been perfected over millennia. How to cook using electromagnetic heat, which minerals enhance flavor for dragon palates. The spiritual significance of shared meals in dragon culture. Skyfire was a patient teacher. Copper translated when Owen's understanding of galactic common failed. Even Flint contributed, showing Owen how to work metal into food preparation in ways that seemed impossible. On the 4th morning, alarms shattered the peaceful routine. Harsh klaxons echoed through the cavern system. Dragons took flight immediately, forming defensive positions around the settlement's entrance. What is happening? Owen asked. Flint's expression was grim. Ships approaching. Multiple vessels. Military configuration. Skyfire rose to her full height, scales gleaming. They have found us. I knew it was only a matter of time. Who? The ones who want me dead. The ones who need dragons desperate enough to sell our sovereignty for medicine. Owen's stomach dropped. The medical corporations. Station Master Grevin sold your location to them, Copper said, monitoring a communication device. They know you are here. They are coming to arrest you and force us to cooperate. Through the cavern entrance, Owen could see ships. Sleek corporate security vessels with the logo of Medigalactic Systems. The same company that had tried to force dragons into mineral rights contracts in exchange for Silvercrest treatments. I will go with them, Owen said. This is about me. Let me surrender. Keep your people safe. Skyfire's laugh was like rolling thunder. You still do not understand dragon culture, do you? You are under my protection. You ate at my table. You learned our ways. That makes you family. We do not surrender family to enemies. But I'm not worth fighting over. Flint stepped beside his mother. You showed us that compassion exists between species. You risked everything to help a stranger. You are worth defending, human. More dragons gathered, young and old, all of them taking positions around the settlement. Owen felt sick. This was exactly what he had wanted to avoid. Violence, conflict, people getting hurt because of him. A communication channel opened. Station Master Grevin's face appeared on the central display. The slug-like Quillen looked smug. This is Station Master Grevin speaking to the dragon settlement. You are harboring a fugitive who violated medical practice regulations. Surrender Owen Reyes immediately, and there will be no consequences for your people. Skyfire responded with ice in her voice. Owen Reyes is under the protection of the Bronze Line. We do not surrender our own. Leave our territory immediately. You do not have the authority to refuse. Medigalactic Systems has legal jurisdiction in this sector. They have a warrant for his arrest. Legal where? By whose laws? We are a sovereign people. Your corporate regulations mean nothing here. Grevin's expression hardened. Then you're choosing conflict over cooperation. Medigalactic is prepared to enforce their rights by any means necessary. They are also prepared to offer you a deal. Surrender the human, and they will provide Silver Crest treatments for your people at reduced cost. Owen felt the trap closing. This was never about him. This was about forcing dragons back into corporate dependency. If they accepted this deal, they would owe the corporation. If they fought, people would get hurt. Either way, the dragons lost. We refuse, Skyfire said. Then prepare for boarding action. The communication cut off. Corporate security ships moved closer. Their weapons systems powered up. This was really happening. Owen grabbed Kappa's arm. Get me to a ship. Now. I am leaving. Once I am gone, they have no reason to attack. Owen, no now. This is not your fight. But before anyone could move, something unexpected happened. A new voice cut across the communication channels. Dr. Amira Osei. This is Dr. Amira Osei broadcasting to all vessels and stations in the sector. I am uploading complete documentation of Owen Reyes' treatment methods to the public galactic database. His cooking techniques, his ingredient combinations, his research, everything. Owen's heart stopped. She was making his work public, free for anyone to use. Amira continued. Owen Reyes never claimed to practice medicine. He prepared food using publicly available ingredients and standard cooking techniques. Any chef in the galaxy can now replicate his methods. Arresting him accomplishes nothing. The knowledge is already free. Another voice joined in. Then another. Station residents Owen had served meals to over the years. People he barely knew. All of them broadcasting their support. Testimonials about his character. Recordings of his kindness. Proof that he never charged for his help. Then something even more unexpected happened. News ships arrived. Independent journalists drawn by Amira's broadcast. They began recording everything. The corporate security ships. The dragons forming defensive lines. Owen standing in the cavern entrance. The narrative was changing in real time. This was no longer about regulations. It was about a chef who helped a dying mother. About corporations trying to maintain monopolies on medicine. About dragons defending someone who showed them compassion. Galactic public opinion shifted fast. Social networks exploded with commentary. Support for Owen flooded in from hundreds of worlds. People sharing their own stories of corporate medical abuse, of being denied treatment because they could not pay. Owen became a symbol without trying. The small chef against the massive corporation. The human who chose kindness over profit. Station Master Grevin appeared on screen again. He looked panicked. This is not what it seems. I was just enforcing regulations. You were enforcing corporate interests, Skyfire replied coldly. The galaxy sees the difference now. Representatives from the Galactic Medical Council arrived within hours. They reviewed Amira's documentation, interviewed Owen, examined his methods. Their conclusion was clear. Owen had never practiced medicine. He had prepared food. Cooking was not a licensed medical practice. No laws had been broken. The warrant was voided. Medigalactic Systems withdrew under public pressure. Station Master Grevin was removed from his position for corruption. The whole corporate scheme collapsed under scrutiny. Owen stood in the cavern entrance, watching the ships disperse. He felt numb. Everything had happened so fast. Copper hugged him around the waist. You are safe now. We are all safe. I did not mean for any of this to happen. Skyfire approached. You showed the galaxy something important. That compassion costs nothing but gives everything. That small acts of kindness can challenge systems of power. That one person with a good heart can change the world. I just wanted to help your son save his mother. And in doing so, you saved far more than one dragon. Look, Skyfire gestured to the communication screens. Messages were flooding in from across the galaxy. dragons on other worlds asking how to prepare silvercrests, families thanking Owen for making the treatment accessible, restaurants offering to learn his techniques. Flint stood beside Owen. You build a bridge between our species, one meal at a time. That is worth more than any treaty. Owen looked around the cavern, at Skyfire, fully healed and strong, at Copper, bouncing with happiness, at Flint, who had gone from suspicious to respectful, at the dozens of dragons who had risked themselves to protect him. What happens now? Owen asked. Skyfire smiled. Now you teach. Dragons need to learn your methods. Other species want to learn too. Your restaurant will no longer be empty. Owen Reyes. You have become exactly what you wanted to be. A bridge between worlds, built on the foundation of good food and honest care. My restaurant can barely fit 20 people. Then we will build you a bigger one. Owen laughed despite everything. You want to build me a restaurant? We want to invest in what you represent. Hope, understanding, the belief that different species can work together instead of apart. Your cooking proved that. Now we help you share it with the galaxy. Owen looked at the small dragon who had changed his life by asking for help. What do you think, Copper? Should I accept? Copper grinned, showing small fangs. I think you should teach me everything you know. I want to be a chef too. The first dragon chef who cooks for all species. That sounds perfect. The sun rose over the asteroid belt, casting light through the cavern entrance. Owen had come to the station searching for purpose. He had found it in the most unexpected way, not through success or fame, but through the simple act of helping a child save his mother. Everything else had grown from that single moment of compassion, and now it would keep growing, spreading across the galaxy like ripples in still water. One meal at a time, one act of kindness at a time, building bridges that would last forever. 6 months later, Owen stood in a kitchen 3 times the size of his old restaurant. The new building sat on the border between the station's human quarter and the docking area where dragons now visited regularly. Half the kitchen was designed for human cooking methods. The other half incorporated dragon techniques using electromagnetic heating and mineral preparation surfaces. Copper worked beside him, carefully monitoring a reduction sauce. The young dragon had proven to be a natural chef. He understood instinctively how to balance flavors across different species' taste profiles. Temperature is dropping on Station 3, Copper called out. Owen checked his instruments. Adjust the field strength. We need to maintain the mineral structure, or the quelling customers will not taste the umami properly. Copper made the adjustment with practiced ease. 6 months of training had transformed him from an eager student into a skilled cook. He still had much to learn, but his progress was remarkable. The restaurant had opened 2 months ago. They called it The Bridge. Simple name, clear purpose. On opening night, they had served 42 customers from 7 different species. Last night, they had served 300 and needed to turn people away. Word had spread across the galaxy. The chef who helped a dragon. The restaurant that cooked for everyone. The place where species came together over good food and honest conversation. Flint managed the front of house operations. The big dragon had a talent for hospitality that surprised everyone, including himself. He greeted customers with warmth, remembered their preferences, and made sure everyone felt welcome. The same dragon who had once threatened to kill Owen now worked beside him every day. Dr. Amira Osei stopped by most evenings after a research shift. She had become the restaurant's informal xenobiology consultant, helping Owen understand the dietary needs of species they had never served before. Tonight she sat at the bar, reviewing data on her tablet and stealing bites of the experimental dishes Owen sent out for her opinion. The Velian Envoys delegation is coming next week, Amira said between bites. They specifically requested you cook for them. Apparently, the ambassador heard about your cross-species fusion work and wants to experience it firsthand. Owen smiled. A year ago, I could not get 3 customers on a good day. Now I am cooking for ambassadors. You earned it. And not just through cooking. You changed how people think about interspecies cooperation. I just fed a sick dragon. You showed compassion when it was risky. You chose kindness over profit. That resonated with people across the galaxy. Never underestimate the power of doing the right thing. The dinner rush began. The dining room filled with an incredible mix of species. Dragons sat next to humans. Quillins shared tables with Cree traders. Everyone eating food designed to honor their unique biology while creating flavors they could all appreciate. Skyfire arrived with a small group of elder dragons. She visited twice a week, always bringing news from the dragon settlements. Tonight, she looked particularly pleased. Owen, a moment when you have time, she called. He wiped his hands and joined her at a corner table. What can I do for you? The Council of Dragons met yesterday. We discussed establishing formal cultural exchange programs with other species. Real programs, not corporate negotiations or mining contracts. Genuine attempts at understanding. Skyfire paused. We want you to coordinate the culinary component. Train chefs from both sides. Create opportunities for shared meals and shared knowledge. Owen sat down hard. That is a massive responsibility. You're already doing it here. We simply want to expand the model. Pay you properly for it. Make it official. I'm just a cook. You are a bridge builder who happens to use food as his medium. There is a difference. Skyfire leaned forward. My son's life was saved because you saw past species and recognized need. That perspective is rare. Valuable. The galaxy needs more of it. Owen looked across the restaurant. At Copper laughing with customers while taking orders. At Flint ensuring everyone was comfortable. At dozens of beings from different worlds sharing space peacefully. I will do it, Owen said. On one condition. Copper comes with me. He needs to see what his request started. He needs to understand the impact of asking for help. Agreed. My son will benefit from seeing the wider galaxy. They shook on it, human hand to dragon claw. A formal agreement built on trust and respect. Later that evening, after the last customers left and the kitchen was clean, Owen sat with Copper on the outdoor terrace overlooking the station. Ships came and went against the backdrop of stars. Somewhere out there, countless worlds spun through space. Each one filled with beings trying to survive, trying to connect, trying to matter. Do you ever think about that first night? Copper asked. When I showed up at your door with those vegetables? All the time. I was so scared. I thought you would refuse. Or worse, laugh at me. Dragons do not ask other species for help. It goes against everything we are taught. But you asked anyway, because I love my mother more than I feared breaking tradition. Copper looked at Owen. You could have refused. You had every reason to say no, but you helped anyway. Why? Owen thought about his answer carefully. Because you were a child asking me to save your mother. Because I remember my own grandmother dying when medicine was available but unbearable. Because I'm a cook and feeding people is what I do. Pick whichever reason you like. They are all true. I think it was because you are good. Just good. Not because of species or culture or anything complicated. Just because you see suffering and want to stop it. Maybe. Or maybe I am just stubborn and did not want to admit that something was impossible. They sat in comfortable silence. A dragon and a human who had become friends through shared purpose. The galaxy is changing, Copper said quietly. I see in how people interact here. Dragons talking to humans without fear. Humans asking dragons about culture without suspicion. Species working together. That started with us, didn't it? It started with you having the courage to ask for help. Everything else grew from that moment. Then I'm glad I was brave that night. So am I. Movement in the kitchen caught Owen's attention. Flint was preparing ingredients for tomorrow's service. The big dragon worked with methodical precision, following recipes Owen had taught him. Once, Flint would have rather died than learn from a human. Now he took pride in mastering human cooking techniques. Skyfire appeared in the doorway, scales gleaming with health. She watched her sons with obvious affection. The matriarch who had almost died was now thriving, using her renewed strength to build bridges between her people and the galaxy beyond. What are you thinking about? Copper asked. Owen smiled. I am thinking about how one small decision can change everything. How helping one person can ripple outward in ways you never expect. How the best thing I ever cooked was not in a fancy restaurant or for important people, but in a late-night kitchen for a desperate child. Do you miss your old restaurant? When it was just yours. Sometimes. It was simpler, quieter. But this matters more. This creates something bigger than just one person's dream. Good, because I like working with you. And I have a lot more to learn. You are already better than I was at your age. Copper preened a little at the compliment. Mother says I have fire heart like you. She said that. She says anyone who cooks the way you taught me must have fire heart. Because we do not just feed bodies. We feed souls. Owen had never thought about it that way. But maybe Skyfire was right. Maybe food was more than nutrition. Maybe it was connection, understanding, love made tangible through flavor and care. The stars turned overhead. The station hummed with life. In the kitchen behind them, Flint and Skyfire prepared for tomorrow. In the dining room, tables waited for the next day's customers. In the galaxy beyond, news of the bridge continued spreading. Point one restaurant. One chef. One dragon who asked for help. From those simple elements, something beautiful had grown. Owen looked at Copper and saw the future. A generation that would not inherit old hatreds. A generation that would build bridges instead of walls. A generation that would judge others by their actions, not their species. Ready for tomorrow? Owen asked. Copper nodded enthusiastically. Always. What are we cooking? Something new. Something nobody has tried before. A fusion of earth spices, dragon mineral techniques, and Quellen fermentation methods. If it works, it will be amazing. If it fails, we learn and try again. That sounds perfect. They stood and returned to the kitchen. There was always work to do. Always new recipes to attempt. Always more bridges to build, one meal at a time. Owen Reyes had come to the station searching for purpose. He had found it in the most unexpected way. Not through success measured in credits or fame measured in recognition, but through compassion measured in lives touched and connections made that a small dragon had asked him for help. He had said yes. Everything else had followed naturally from that single act of kindness. And now, looking around at the restaurant full of promise and the future full of possibility, Owen understood the truth that would guide the rest of his life. The best recipes are not the ones that make you famous. They're the ones that bring people together. Everything else is just seasoning.